Hey everybody, this is Vi. We're checking out Marmoreal. This is a game I've not played before. We're going to give it a playtest, see if we can give some useful feedback. This is a game that's been around for a while. I've seen it a lot and I just never got around to actually trying it myself, but we're going to rectify that finally and give it a shot today. Yeah, I got the game page open here. It says Marmoreal is a bullet hell action RPG with swords, magic, and fully automatic crossbows. Mentions the Twitter page of the developer here, and that's about it. So if you want to check out this game, I'll put a link in the description of this video. But we're going to give this a shot, so let's go ahead and get rid of that overlay and jump right into this. The volume of the music is actually pretty reasonable, which is unusual for these games that I playtest, so that's kind of nice. Interestingly, it has the volume controls right here on this page here. This is going to be an alpha version, of course. I guess we don't have any other options to play with. It's a bit too bad. Unfortunate, I guess, but expect more in the future, I'm sure. I guess we just click on New Game. Alright, we got some cutscene action, looks like. Interesting. Oh, that's cool. Alright, so we got room to run around, it looks like. We got some UI in the bottom here. So I'm guessing, yeah, this is in borderless windowed mode for the full screen. It'd be nice to have an exclusive full screen mode. We get a bit less input lag. You could turn off the VSync and get a bit more frame stability. But I think this will be okay. Wow, okay. Oh, interesting. So if we wait a bit, it looks like we have a little recharge on the reticle itself. There's some interesting UI on there. It takes a while to get back to the full spread. I'm not really sure what the thought is here. Interesting. So what I would wonder, I mean, yes, I'm not, oh, what the heck? Why is she moving the way she's moving? So I'm just hitting the space bar and she's kind of zooming around here. I don't understand. Is it just the last direction I pressed? Must be the last. Okay, I think it's just the last direction I pressed. So this is really counterintuitive. Like if I'm not doing any directional input and I press this and I just suddenly launch in some direction, it's really quite confusing. But I guess it's just trying to keep track of the last pressed direction here. So that seems to be a dodge of some sort. So about the spread thing, like it kind of gives me the idea that like the longer you hold it down, the more concentrated it is in terms of like the overall damage. Like the damage goes from being spread out to being concentrated to a small area. But when I'm looking at it, it just kind of looks like it's just shooting less bullets, as opposed to shooting like the same number of bullets but in a more concentrated spread. So I don't really know what the idea is behind this. How I'm meant to think of using this, but I guess I'll just kind of ignore it for now. I don't really know how to make sense of that attack. Eek! Skeletons. Yeah, that is indeed skeletons. Oh, she's hiding. Okay. So I like that there's little cutscenes. I guess I just shoot these guys. Oh, okay, so I have another button I can press here. And that does... Oh. Funny little... So is this free? There's no resource I'm spending? I mean, I can't shoot while I'm doing that. So it looks like a shield, and then it has... It kind of launches, and then if I hold it long enough, it does... I guess a more powerful version. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so What are the other buttons then? There's these three things at the bottom, so I feel like... Okay, if I press 1, I can do this. And then that... Did that spend something? Or it's just on cooldown? Okay, I think these are just cooldowns, which is nice. Kind of like the idea of cooldowns as opposed to having like a resource that you spend. Because that encourages you to use these more, rather than like trying to keep your resource up. And then you just like never use these kinds of things. So I like that a lot. So these are, all three of these are very similar in the fact that they just put a circle in the level. But I don't know what the heck they actually do. I mean, this looks... Gives Roman numerals like it's a clock. I don't know. No way to know what they are until I actually try it, I guess. Oh, I can hold shift to slow my movement down. Which would make sense. Oh, wait. Okay, there's a little circle. So I'm gonna guess that that's gonna be my hitbox, my collider, on my character, which is really nice to see. And it looks like, yeah, it actually is considered the center point here. It feels like it's a little high. Like it should be kind of more in like her abdomen or something, but I guess that's just mostly cosmetic, but that should be good for dodging. The only problem I have with this, I mean, I really like this kind of concept for dodging and stuff in bullet hell. The only problem I have with this is that it blends in a lot to her, like the blue on blue, the white and blue on white and blue kind of thing. So I'd like to have that more visible. And it might be nice, maybe even if it's just like an option in the menu or something, just maybe to have an option to kind of have that always show up or something. Maybe that could end up being useful in gameplay. So this does something, I don't really understand. Okay, so these debris actually block my attack while this goes through. So this goes through walls and stuff. That's interesting, I guess. So I'm kind of curious, like, what the... Alright, so here's a bit tricky because going in this direction I can't see very far, so this is just a trait of the fact that it's the angle of the camera along with the fact that this is a 16:9 aspect ratio means that going downwards, this is kind of the worst case scenario for how far I can see in front of me. So it's a bit problematic. I'm not sure if there might be something you could do to correct or what would be the word? Account for that, I guess. I guess one idea, I mean, you could do the kind of thing where you can kind of shift the view up and you shift it around a little bit with the cursor. You could kind of shift it a little further vertically, but in my opinion, I don't think I like that too much. I've actually tried that before with a game I was working on, and I didn't actually like it that much. But another thing you could do is to just maybe just control the zoom, the distance of the camera, and you could just have like different zones that you just put into the levels, perhaps. So like you could put a trigger zone around here, maybe, just because this is a place where I'm going to be going downwards. You might just zoom out the camera a bit in this area so I can see these enemies before I'm like already on top of them, because it definitely feels like they're just out there a bit too much. Charged attack. Okay, so for whatever reason I could kill this without actually doing what it was telling me to do. It's probably not what you want. It looks like I can just walk around with this, which, apart from the sound being annoying, might not be what you want, just because it's technically more optimal to just kind of, I guess, walk around with this until like you run into an enemy. You can kind of, like, it does slow you down and stuff, but I don't know, maybe it doesn't actually matter. I'm just thinking in terms of sometimes if you can get into these situations where technically what's most optimal for the player to do isn't as fun. And that kind of reminded me of that kind of thing, where it might just be annoying to just, you know, run around with this held all the time. But maybe just the fact that it slows you down is enough to kind of deter that kind of behavior, that kind of thing. Abilities 1, 2, and 3, I don't know. Did that? I think this is damaged. Maybe it was the number 1 that did the damage. Alright, so this appears to be like the other things where it's kind of giving you an opportunity to play with this to... I mean, I assume it was meant to like damage this thing, but unfortunately it appears that a couple of these abilities don't actually affect the crystal at all, so this doesn't seem to work in this case, where I guess number 1 apparently does damage. So maybe you could figure out something else that would kind of teach the player what these do and require them to use it at this point so that they can learn properly, you know, that kind of thing. Interesting shaders that kind of cause this fading effect. It might be nice if they kind of did this fade out when you went behind them. I guess it doesn't matter too much because you have the outline, the nice outline, which I guess does the same job, so maybe that doesn't matter then. It does happen quite a bit though. It's kind of like omnipresent, this sort of cutout effect. It almost seems a little bit unfortunate because some of this art is actually kind of nice. I like this kind of stained glass effect and stuff, and it just seems like a lot of it's just cut off a lot of the time. It's kind of interesting. Like, I know that it's kind of a necessity, but I almost wonder if there's a way you could get it to do this list. Oh, apparently I could shoot things. Oh, the camera actually goes way up there. Well, that's weird. I wonder why it goes so far. Can I actually, like... No, I can't try to dash over this, but apparently I could shoot things over here that were like way off the screen, and I could like hear things breaking and stuff. It's a little annoying because I don't know what it was that I was doing. And when I start like doing things when I can't see on the screen, it kind of feels like... It just kind of feels broken in a sense. It's like I'm missing out on what's actually happening. So you might just want to like limit the range of the bullets or something like that. Wait a second, is it going to fall? Wow, that zoom in, oh my gosh. Oh no. Okay. Oh, it was kind of funny, I could see myself for a brief moment on the ground still, even though I just saw myself fall in that cutscene. How far did I fall? Who knows? I don't know. That's kind of cute. Oh, yeah. Get some real-time graphics here. There's a lot of flashiness on the screen, so once you start getting into these situations where you might actually want to dodge between these bullets and stuff, the amount of glow and just flashy visual effects and stuff kind of obfuscates a lot of this, and that can be quite problematic. What was the button? Shift. So you really have to be careful with a lot of these effects and stuff when you want to do this kind of gameplay. When it becomes like really crucial that you can actually very clearly see the bullets and that you can dodge between them and this kind of thing. I wonder if the shift movement might actually be a little bit too slow. Might be worth tweaking. The bullets come at you aren't like ultra slow, so maybe, I guess it depends. I haven't really had need to use it yet. But yeah, so anytime you're into bullet hell kind of stuff, the visibility of everything is absolutely crucial. So I would put that, you know, I'd bump up that to top priority over some of this visual pizzazz and stuff. It's very important. And also, like, I'm noticing, for instance, that some of these skeletons, I think they shoot like projectiles that don't really glow. They kind of, they don't stand out that much. They don't seem very dangerous, but you know, it's just very important that everything is very, very visible. So I would be very careful about that in particular. Okay, that was pretty funny. Oh my gosh, her dress is not very modest here. Else, told you I'd get in here as fast as you did. You just used the portal. Oh, I'm playing. Okay, I'm playing as this other lady now. I didn't even realize I was using a different character. So I would suggest, you know, like differentiating with different colors and such. I don't really see the need in making all of the clothes all blue. Okay, interesting. Oh, that charge is bigger. Okay. This doesn't have like the sound effects and stuff that the other one did, so it feels slightly less finished or something, but some of those sound effects were a bit annoying on the other hand. But yeah, I didn't even realize that I could keep charging this until I kind of did it accidentally, so maybe a little bit more audio feedback would be useful in that case. Yeah, so what I'm wondering is like, how useful is this actually? Like, would I actually just sit here and like do this while I'm fighting guys? As opposed to just like holding left click down and spamming this? Oh, hello. So another thing I noticed, my reticle can get a little hard to see. It's not that, I mean, particularly this is quite dark, but there's just so much flashy stuff going on. It can kind of get to that point where there's just so many flashes on the screen, and I don't really, my brain isn't really registering the reticle as well. Like if I look directly at it, obviously I can see it, but generally you're kind of looking at your character in the middle of the screen. Particularly when you have to dodge bullets and stuff, you have to look directly at your character to accurately dodge things, so you can't look at where your reticle is. So it's pretty important to really highlight that visibility in a way that you can kind of see it through your peripheral clearly, and that can get quite problematic if there's just a lot of stuff flashing on the screen. So the spacebar, I'm not really used to using the spacebar for the dash. I wonder if that gives you invincibility frames. It's quite a far dash. I guess these are pickups? I don't know. I guess that was for health. Might be nice if these kind of magneted. That's not really a word. These had like a magnet effect. When you got close to them, it just kind of sucked them up, rather than having to walk directly over them. Yeah, so I find it feels a little bit tiresome to work with the aim a lot. It's a bit particular. I guess the colliders aren't very big or something. It's not like I have a lot of trouble hitting the enemies, but you do have to be reasonably accurate. I don't really know where I'm going. I guess this is a portal. I can skip over it. I don't know. I'm not really getting a sense of direction at the moment. Oh, this is where I was before. So presumably I could like fall down here and then get stuck and have to go all the way back around. So yeah, it might be nice to have some kind of a map, given the way that these levels are laid out. I think that would be helpful. I guess maybe, yeah, so one of the things that can make the aiming kind of tiresome is just a little bit of input lag. Just something I didn't think about, but sometimes that can just kind of feel unresponsive in a way, and that can be a bit problematic. Looks like I found a chest. I haven't tried this character's specials yet. Wow, look at that. I can't believe I managed to find treasure before Arcana did. Lots of bloom lighting going on here. Looks like a ribbon. Escape to open menu. Alright, nice. So we've got some guided menu interaction here. That's very nice. So we've got other equipment that can theoretically be equipped here. So we have a bow, and then I guess this is like the projectiles. Then maybe this is the secondary fire, I assume, because it sort of looks like the circle. I don't really know. Can't really tell what this is. It looks like some kind of a tassel. This kind of looks like a bottle. It's got some weird shapes to it. Some of these little tiny details on the top are kind of not reading as anything. I guess if you look really close, it could be a chain or it could be bubbles. So maybe this is like a tag with a chain on it, something like that. But some of these details are a little bit too fine, I think, for this kind of icon. And we have a ribbon here, I guess. Oh, okay. So right click to unequip it. All right, well that works. I kind of wish I could just kind of click and drag this or double click it or something, but that's okay. We got traits down here. Power is 6. Respawn, continue. Oh, there's a map here. All right, that's useful. It's weird that I had to click an X for that to show up. Apparently if I click on this, it's like a window here, but it's like perfectly over the other one. It's really quite weird, the whole clicking the X thing. This X doesn't do anything. See this? Oh, it does the same. Okay, so it's pretty counterintuitive the way this is laid out. Like this, like just clicking on this X thing to move the windows. I would do something different, like like clicking an arrow or something to move to a different slidey thing or something. So we can actually see the you can see the equipment on the character, it looks like. Okay. Don't know what that was, but it looked mean. So yeah, all the blue seems a bit much. We'll definitely explore some different colors for the characters here. She's just talking about the ribbon, okay. Big rock monster, okay. Nice, so this is kind of cute, but the pacing is getting a bit slow here, maybe. I guess this is introducing a boss. Oh my gosh. Fire lasers. Secret weapon to use in a pinch. Alright, more blue stuff. Everything is blue. Warform Frank. Active. Kind of sounds like Warframe, I guess. Alright, this is cool. This is... Can I pause this? Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to mention real quick, the pacing on the cutscene was maybe a little bit too slow. Like it's kind of... It's entertaining. I like the work that's been put into it. It's pretty cute and stuff, but I feel like it drags on just a little longer than it should, probably. So I could imagine some people getting a little bit impatient with that. And it's not the kind of thing where I think it should just be skippable. Like maybe it is skippable. I didn't try to skip it. I just think it should, go along a little bit faster because I'd rather watch it than not watch it. But yeah. So in terms of this guy, it might be nice if like in the menu here you could like read about his abilities or something. Even like the weapon, his default weapon or something. He has 3 abilities, but there's no way for me to... There's no like descriptions of them or anything. I still don't know what these abilities do. His primary attack is kind of... feels a bit lackluster in terms of the animation of it. I really like this swoosh effect, but it's just kind of a small movement. It's just like a little flick like this, and then I'd rather see like a bigger arc or something, you know. This boss guy, his AI doesn't really path correctly, it looks like. It won't budge. Okay. So again, we have this... Okay, he can do a wider attack like this. Alright, so I guess it's kind of... it's kind of working with the same concept, I guess, of having like a narrower attack and then being able to do a wider attack. I might suggest, you know, something like a more vertical slash or a jab or something, rather than this kind of little flick left and right. And then you can do kind of a more horizontal swipe if you want to do this. Again, it's hard to imagine somebody like sitting there and just kind of like charging this over and over again, or why you would even use this as part of it. Maybe it's useful, but I don't really know. Like, why do that versus just like spamming this forever? I don't know. Of course, there's the fully charged thing, which does that, and that wiped him out easily. I guess we can just do that. We can spam, cheese this boss by shooting him through the walls, unfortunately. It's got dashes. What are these things? I'll just launch some bullet things. That's cool. And then what does 3 do? 3, I didn't see anything happen. So I don't know what the... Oh, there's more. So I like these visuals. I'm not sure why he's walking around with... I don't know if this is a bug or something. Yeah, I don't think this is supposed to stay here. It looks like it's just a little bit of a bug, but I like the visual effects that make this very clear. That's really nice, in my opinion. Seems we're not the only ones interested in this palace. This guy just randomly started contributing to the discussion here. Oh, got a whole army. Oh, I can just click the mouse, that's nice. Oh, now I'm playing this lady. So this is cool. Yeah, see, I like these kind of wider swipes. They just kind of look better. Her... I mean, in terms of the animation, her lower body isn't really involved in the animation, so it does look pretty weird. Particularly the second swipe here. It's not a big deal, but... So this looks very similar to the other guy's thing. I guess it charges up faster in the full size attack, but feels good. What does this do? Oh, that's cool. Alright, yeah, so we're getting these situations where sometimes it's like the blue slash, the arc of the slash is kind of over the enemy visually, but it's not actually colliding with them. So I wonder if maybe the colliders could be made a little more generous or something. For some reason, there's some of these situations where it just doesn't quite feel right here. Interesting how one of these also has a wider arc than the other one. So I did notice that there's stuff going on down there. Although most of this is pretty blank. Just the fact that this part is here, it's actually really cool to see this kind of thing. It really provides a sense of scale and depth to the situation here. It looks really cool. Soldier's shield level 1 uncommon. Alright, it's a little hard to read. Unfortunately, while I'm battling dudes, I can't really read that very well. Like, I kind of did it because, like, I just kind of ignored the guys because they're just like really, really weak skeletons. So I just kind of, like looked over here to watch the thing while I kind of ignored the guys and just kind of hit the button a few times. But if I actually was engaged in the combat here, I wouldn't have been able to look over at this and read it properly. I don't know if maybe you want to just leave that on screen for a while longer or something. It might help. Maybe you can make the text a little bigger too. Powers 3. Oh. Whoa, no. What happened? Wait, did I drop it? Did I throw it away? It's just gone. Oh my gosh, okay, so I was trying to I tried to click and drag it for a moment and then it kind of just... What happened? I thought it just kind of scrolled away or something, but now I can't get it back. Also, this has an exclamation mark on it right here, but clicking on that doesn't do anything. Well, that's too bad. I apparently just threw some bug or something and just kind of got rid of the weapon. So that's unfortunate. Not sure what happened there. I can't get it back. So yeah, I didn't mention this before, but of course, I think it'd be nice if the map was like up in the corner here or something. You had a little view of that. I think that'd be a lot comfier rather than being forced to go into the menu there. This shadow threw me off. For some reason it looks strange. Yeah, alright. That was a bit predictable. That was funny though. Also cool. Whoa, holy crap. Cool animations there. What in the heck is going on here? This is like... What the heck? Just die. Okay, so I really like how you can use the dash and attack in the middle of the dash. That's really cool. That feels really good. Unfortunately, these seem like a sudden huge spike in difficulty. These guys attack extremely quickly. I didn't really get a sense of like how you're supposed to avoid them very well. Maybe they need to telegraph more, because that was like really shockingly more dangerous than like anything I faced so far. Everything's just like really easy to dispatch without any real effort, so. Okay, we're just staring at this character for a while. That was a little weird. Good timing. Could you come here for a second? Oh my gosh. Better idea. What are you doing? This is funny. I like this. Okay. Nice. Okay. It's really weird but funny. So this guy's glowing purple. I don't know what that means. Is he a more powerful guy? Oh, I can just Machine gun. Oh, I got hit by something. I didn't really see the bullet that hit me though, unfortunately, so it didn't feel very good. Oh, so this is more of a teleport attack thing. Interesting. So he's a shield. That unfortunately charged up just a little bit too late. I'm wondering... So I'm kind of getting this sense of like maybe if you're trying to do a charge attack, but there's enemies running into you and you don't have time to charge it fully. And maybe I could kind of see why having like this big arc attack as sort of a it's like an emergency or something that pops out if you have to let go of it prematurely. Maybe that could be like a reason for this kind of thing, I guess. I guess that makes sense. I wonder though how far does it knock dudes back? You have a little bit of a downtime after you do this, and some of these enemies are pretty fast. It's a little hard to test this because if I hold it too long, it charges up all the way. I think it also affects your move speed. I'm trying to get my brain wrapped around that. Oh, yeah, you have to be pretty accurate with some of these shots. No, let me test this out real quick. Yeah, so the weird thing about this is when you do this, your move speed slows down, but it's not instantly. It like takes a bit for you to slow down properly, so it's really kind of weird. I would kind of expect it to just be kind of one or the other. Like if you start doing it, it would just kind of immediately slow you down or something. When it does it kind of later, it makes it feel like your movement speed is rather unpredictable. And when you're in the middle of like trying to avoid attacks and stuff, it just doesn't quite feel right to me. So I would try to make that more uniform, I guess. Crossbow bolts, level 1 common crossbow bolts. Might be nice to use the tab key or something. Open up the menu or something here. So yeah, this seems pretty buggy. Like I clicked on this and then it showed a empty screen, and then I don't... Oh, there's a settings thing here. It's nice, I guess. I don't seem to be able to see what I picked up. The treasure, unfortunately. Some buggy action there. Let's try these things. Interesting. That's cool. It's like a sniper shot. Bomb thing. Alright, so it's interesting. Some of these... I mean, all the different movements you can do, you have like your secondary sort of thing that charges up to a charge attack, and then you have like 3 other abilities, and you have your main fire. Some of these kind of... Oh, nice, we have tooltips. Well, that's good. I wish I noticed that earlier. But some of these are... Like, if you compare the different characters to each other, some of the abilities are kind of quite similar. Like, for example, if I compare like this to the... like the secondary attack of the first character or something, it's kind of quite similar. Like, even though this is an ability and that was a secondary attack, this kind of thing, we end up with sort of variations on the same thing, like just a wide arc attack or a narrow attack, that kind of thing. I wonder if maybe there's some other sorts of things that we could represent here rather than just like wide attack, narrow attack, round attack. Spot on the ground attack. I don't know. I mean, it still presents a slightly different playstyle between the characters. Whoa. Okay, so this is like a movement puzzle or something. Is this where I came from? Apparently, this is... Alright, so I'm noticing you can actually just move through the level much faster if you just spam the dodge. Alright, so this is kind of like something I brought up earlier where the more optimal way to play might be a little bit less fun. Once players figure out that this is like a much faster way to move through the levels, they're probably just going to do this all the time. And that can get pretty tiresome. This is like, for example, in Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Oh. Okay, I thought that dodge was not going to collide. Apparently it still collides with enemies. In Castlevania Symphony of the Night, if you do the dodge thing like backwards, and you just spam it really fast, you can actually move slightly faster than just walking normally. So in that game, once you figure that out, you kind of start doing that everywhere, where just like every time you go through a room, you're just constantly smashing the dodge button. And it gets quite tiresome, but it just feels wrong if you don't do it because you move slower. So it's a situation where when the player optimizes the game, it kind of is a bit less fun. And it's not a good thing because you always want like more optimal to be better. Okay, so this is really similar to that. In this case, you actually move much faster if you spam the dodge, though. What the heck? What is she doing? What's going on? Is this an infinite loop, or is this... Oh my gosh. No, this... Oh my gosh. Wait, what? Oh my gosh, I almost thought I soft-locked the game. There's so many Octavias. Like it was funny at first, and then I was just like, oh no, the game's in an infinite loop. Oh my gosh, that was really weird. I didn't really read that dialogue properly. I kind of skimmed some of it, but I was just so taken aback by that. Oh, this is cool. I like this. This is like Pyro in Team Fortress 2. It's fun. Oh, does this just not work if you don't charge it? Oh. It shoots a fireball. So you can actually spam this pretty fast, but only if you press the button really fast. That's actually not necessarily a good thing. I don't know how the numbers work in terms of the damage per second, but it's a bit hard to spam the right click that fast, and it's not very fun to do that. Like, to try and optimize the output. It's a bit annoying, so I don't know how that works out. For some reason, the primary fire, sometimes when I click, it takes a couple moments for it to start coming out. So it seems if I do a right click, then hold left click, it takes a couple moments before it'll start shooting for some reason. It seems like a bit of a bug there. Let's see what this does. That's interesting, how it's different depending on the distance. I wonder if you can hurt yourself with this or something. That's really interesting how that works. Oh, okay, so this is just all around me. I guess it's like a homing attack, or does that... Was it going towards my cursor? Wait, why does it go over there? I'm guessing maybe it's trying to home in on something, but there's nothing nearby me, so I don't think it should home in on anything if it's not, you know, within a reasonable distance here. Yeah, I guess that's what it's doing. This seems an easy way to cheese things, though. It just kind of goes through everything. Where's my... Yeah, so I find myself really wanting to be able to see this, the little collider here on my character, once it actually becomes necessary to do proper dodging. I find myself wanting to see that. Unfortunately, I can only see it when I hold shift, and this feels like it's a little bit too slow sometimes. Sometimes I just want to move normally, but I still need to be able to see that. So it's getting into that situation where I think it'd just be better if They were just kind of omnipresent there sometimes. So yeah, this actually seems like right-clicking might be more powerful if you just spam this rather than doing this. I don't know where I'm going. Really be nice to have that little, like a little mini map up here just to get a better sense of the layout of the level here. Yeah, there's just not really a sense of direction. I feel like I don't know what's forward and what's, you know, maybe I'm gonna find a chest or something if I go a different direction, but like everywhere I go, it just doesn't give me any idea of whether like I'm moving forward, if I'm moving, you know, into some area on the side or whatever. I can't really make any kind of judgment about that. It's a big kaboom. This apparently also doesn't have any knockback when you just use the primary fire here, so this seems pretty weak actually. I guess it's probably going to go through multiple enemies, but yeah, the lack of knockback and fairly low damage numbers makes it seem pretty weak. I don't know if I can actually equip any of these now. I think I got some kind of a bug with the whole menu here. Yeah, I just don't. I think I just permanently bugged out this equipment menu, which is too bad. Doesn't seem like I need it too much so far. Nothing's been really difficult. I don't know where I'm going. White robe. Oh, again. Oh, more. Okay. Well, I can't actually use any of this stuff, unfortunately. So I'm thinking, because this is purple, this is going to be like forward. Oh, it's another one of these. So last time I found one of these, it didn't, like, I never got a chance to actually interact with it, which is a little weird. I'm not really sure what the deal is with that. Am I going to die if I go in here? I can't go in here. Okay, interesting. Okay. That's pretty funny, but... Alright, yeah, so I'm assuming it needs more than one person to turn this. Oh, it goes the other way. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's a pretty good joke. Okay. Yeah, the lack of knockback is kind of... It's unfortunate, because enemies are really fast in this game, for the most part. You don't really have time to think. It seems like, you know, just keep spamming fire. Oh my gosh. It's hard for my brain to make out. Ah, see, this is... Alright, let me just kill these things and I'll talk afterwards. It's gonna do another cutscene. Oh, this is that wheel I found before. Oh, it actually worked. Holy crap. So I think these people are like on opposite teams or something, because one of them is like red people and blue people or something to that effect. Again, I think they're a little too uniform in their coloring. It's a bit unfortunate, but I think you could still have sort of a motif of the blue and the red, while actually, you know, having some more variations in color incorporated here. So I was going to say before, unfortunately, this is one thing that really drives me bonkers is sometimes you get in these situations where you have to focus really hard on your character while you're trying to dodge between all these bullets, and it makes it really hard to actually like aim with a reticle. So it's just kind of a flaw inherent in any of these games that have this sort of mouse and keyboard, I guess omnidirectional shooters in general, where you can only really focus on either yourself or your reticle at any moment in time. You can't really do both. You can just, like, if you're staring at yourself, you can just kind of very poorly sort of aim, but even just any amount of effort or mental energy you start putting into trying to keep track of the reticle, even if you're staring at yourself, it just kind of takes away from your ability to focus on yourself and your dodging. And my point in all this is that once you have this bullet hell type stuff, it gets really kind of problematic, because you're trying to dodge, but you're trying to shoot and aim at the same time, and you can't really do both. And that's kind of a big problem. It kind of really feels bad to me, and that's really hard to... I don't think there's like an easy fix for that kind of thing, you know? But I would say perhaps the mindset of how to address that might be to try to incorporate more... Well, in the behaviors of the enemies, I think if you incorporate more just kind of variance in their approach and their timings, so that they have like moments where they're kind of attacking you, and then moments where they kind of have downtime and they might pause, and they're not necessarily always running straight towards you, you know, that kind of thing. As it is right now, there's kind of a constant pressure from all of the enemies, so like regardless of what they do, they're just kind of constantly applying pressure to you at all times. And what that means is that you kind of have to, well, you obviously have to avoid their attacks, but you also just have to shoot them and kill them as soon as possible, basically. Because when you're in a game like this where you just have constant enemy pressure, the only way to relieve the pressure and to manage the pressure is to kind of, you know, continuously apply pressure back by attacking them constantly and killing them as soon as possible. All of that would be fine, except that in this case you have this situation where you also have to dodge very accurately between like these swarms of bullets and stuff, and that you know, rips your attention between your character where you're dodging and the reticle where you're aiming, because if you don't aim accurately you can't kill the enemies. So you end up in this problematic situation. But I think, you know, maybe if you kind of work the designs of the enemies where they do things like they apply pressure and then they have a little bit of downtime, they might pause, they might like reposition differently. They might even, you could think about having some group AI where they don't necessarily all attack at once. They might kind of, you know, invisibly communicate with each other so that they time their attacks in kind of a staggered fashion or something, you know, whatever, or whatever kind of works for this. But I think if you have things a little bit more broken up in that way, you can theoretically you might be able to give the player an opportunity to kind of switch back and forth between like attacking and defending themselves by dodging and such. It's very hard to do both simultaneously 100% of the time, and like I mentioned, the enemies just kind of, they're very constant in the kind of pressure that they apply to you. Like a lot of these guys just run straight at you constantly. Like this guy doesn't even pause to actually attack you. He just kind of swipes and then like instantly keeps running directly at you, and there's like no downtime, even when he's attacking. Alright, so this goes through walls, but this doesn't count because it's a different elevation, I guess. But they can shoot down, I assume? Oh, maybe not. Okay, so these guys actually can't hurt me when they're on a different elevation. That's really weird. I mean, it makes sense in some way, but it's just very unexpected, especially because they continue attacking. It's very strange. I don't think I can think of a game where it's kind of had this kind of situation where even like the ranged attacks couldn't hit you if they're on a different level like this. I kind of wish this was like a shield. I don't think this works as a shield, does it? No, that doesn't work as a shield. It looks like a shield, so... I think it would be cool to be able to block attacks in some fashion. I think that could work as a cool ability. So yeah, some AI work seems necessary, and there's a lot of guys getting stuck on corners and stuff. Do these guys... Can you walk over here? Alright, yeah, I see. Holy crap, there's a lot of bullets all of a sudden. So yeah, in traditional bullet hell games, they tend to be unidirectional instead of omnidirectional. So you don't really have to think about the direction you're shooting. It's kind of what enables... How was that guy still alive? Was I just not shooting him? It's kind of what enables those games to work is that you do have to line yourself up vertically, you know, like roughly in front of what you're shooting at, but you can just kind of ignore that a lot of the time and just kind of focus on, you know, dodging through the bullets all the time. The amount of mental effort you have to put into controlling the direction of your aiming is much, much smaller in a unidirectional shooter like that. So... really works effectively for bullet hell type stuff. My gosh, some of these guys are really soaking up the bullets. And yeah, once with with all these flashing blue effects, I can't even see what the enemy is. It's just like a giant blob of blue light that I'm shooting. Gonna assume I still can't actually use any of this. Oh, well, this is working, I guess. Spellbook, what is that? Power 4, do I just have an overall... Do I just have an overall power number that just goes up more? Seems very simplistic, but I guess... I don't know, maybe there's something more complex that's planned for the future or something, but I guess that works. I guess that, you know, maybe I'm gonna assume that having a higher power level is gonna cut down the bullet sponginess, I suppose, of some of the enemies a bit. We went from power 0 to power 8 here, so... What is this down here? Keys. Alright, so I don't know what I'm doing. I got some chests. They open in this room, but it took me a while to get all the way down here. I mean, obviously I'm sitting here and talking and stuff, but it feels a little weird. Again, I don't really know where I'm going. I guess this looks like maybe this is going to be what the keys are for. Oh, what hit me? I'm not keeping track of where my collider is exactly. Whoa, what the heck just hit me? Were they some of these like non-glowy projectiles or something? I don't know, but it's it's definitely the worst case scenario if you are playing a game like this and you can't actually see what hurt you. It's absolutely not what you want. Yes, that freezes them. I thought it might slow them, but I guess it's kind of the same thing, almost. Ugh. Alright, so I guess that's the key thing. It might be nice to Have some kind of animation or something that shows that what you're picking up is ending up here. Just something to indicate what it actually is that makes it a little clearer. Is this where I'm supposed to go? Nope. Oh, okay. It might be nice to have some feedback on that door disappearing, but maybe it's just unfinished. What's that girl doing here? Necromancer. Okay. All right. Yeah, so maybe a little long-winded. Can't really see where she is. Oh my gosh, what the? I mean, all I just see is a flash of blue where I'm apparently shooting the lady here. What am I? Ah! I feel like some of these... I'm not sure if the movement speed of the character and the speed of the bullets is lining up as well as I'd like it to here. Okay, well, yeah, I guess I kind of failed. It didn't... I mean, it was like... I don't know if it was going to get any harder than it was, but it seemed like I could, you know, with a little more practice, could have played that a lot longer, you know. So I don't know if that would have ever gave me a chance to, like, actually beat her, if I was supposed to fail that in order to progress the story, that kind of thing, I don't know. Apparently I'm... oh, okay, so I can use different characters. What is that? I see. Alright, those are things. So I can't really... feel like I shouldn't mess around with the other buttons because I have to focus too much on dodging. And like, if I use abilities that slow my movement down and stuff, then it kind of screws me up. Alright, that was not the right button. I meant to press the dodge. See, that was kind of bad. I mean, of me. I guess she's just leaving. What? Just go through the portal. Oh, she did block the attacks. Why couldn't I do that? What is this? Got a camp. Looks like we have the blue and the red. Interesting. Oh, okay. Do you have like separate storylines or something? Scenery is weird, but I guess I click on missions. I don't really understand what's going on here. I guess that's a mission. And a side mission survival. Rewards. Character selection. Oh. Am I supposed to... Okay, so one of these is being highlighted. It's not very clear. I think you need to make more of a difference between the deselected and the selected icons here. Make that more obvious. Which is which? I think the last one's the fire lady. I actually don't even know. I don't know which character is which here. Oh, this is the lady with the gun, right? Wow, this music is so retro. Oh my gosh, this music. What? Who's that? Green skeletons. Right. Just lost like her whole army all at once. What is this little blob of green there? So I can cancel that with a right click. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just kind of... I guess this is something. I don't know what's going on. Can't see my reticle. Alright, yeah, so the reticle blends in way too much. I still think that the colliders and the enemies are maybe a little too small. Because sometimes you shoot pretty close to them and it still doesn't hit. It kind of requires you to be really quite precise. I can't see enough. There's just too many things overlapping to actually like avoid these bullets and the enemies. And yeah, I just leveled up. That's new. And yeah, I don't have time to think like about what my abilities are or anything. It's just like lots of pressure all at once, and it seems like the easiest thing to do is just to like hold down left click and keep dodging attacks, you know. Like I feel like I want to actually make use of this other stuff, but I don't have time for my brain to think about what else I can do. Especially when I'm avoiding attacks and such, and it's quite unnatural also for me to actually hit these number keys. Oh my gosh, look at all the bullets. It's just a lot. I can't get... For some reason I couldn't click in the right spot. Wait, what's going on here? Right, okay. So I was like trying to... Yeah, this is a little weird. Oh, it's because I don't have line of sight. Okay. Yeah, that's really unexpected. Okay, so... Because this is kind of like a sort of like a lob attack, you know. You know, it kind of makes sense if you think about it that you need line of sight to be able to throw the thing, but it doesn't really feel right that I couldn't throw it like this to hit this area. It just feels really wonky all of a sudden when it doesn't work that way. It seems some attacks like this, for whatever reason, this just goes straight through everything, even though it's a bullet. But this one didn't work that way. So I have potions, I guess. I didn't even think about this. Is there a button to use them or something? Oh, I can equip things. Wait, what? Okay, I have power 4. I actually switched to different characters. This is nice. Uh oh, this one's not working. I wonder why. That's weird, that exclamation mark is not there anymore, but yeah, so I equipped some stuff. Again, I guess I just don't really know how to use the potion thing. Q, okay. Oh, it recharges your health over time. This doesn't seem like a good idea to use this dodge attack, even though it's pretty nice because it throws you into the middle of all the enemies. Yeah, I have a bit of trouble reaching to hit those buttons, unfortunately. Unfortunately, with this button layout, you have to take your fingers off of the movement buttons to hit the number buttons here. And because the game has this sort of constant continuous pressure when you're fighting enemies, it's really quite dangerous to have to take your fingers off of the movement buttons here. Oh my gosh. So yeah, doing a lot of running away because there's just so many bullets. The enemies aren't like nicely grouping up when I need them to if I want to like stop and think about using this grenade thing. Alright, we're getting items. Can I even use swords? Or is this like... plus 2.3% movement speed on the projectiles? Or when I read movement speed, I think of the player movement. If it was the projectiles, I would the wording I would use would be like projectile speed or something like that. Just seems weird that equipping a type of projectile would affect your player movement speed. Apparently there's an item hiding in here. I might want to do some of these nice outlines on the actual pickups so they don't get obstructed the same. plus 0% ability duration. Okay. Guess so. So it's a little bit of a delay. I guess it makes sense if you're throwing a thing that it'll be delayed slightly. The grenade there. It'd probably feel nicer if it kind of blew up instantly, but I guess it would have to be magic if that was the case, right? Thematically speaking. This one doesn't seem quite as useful. It does knock them back pretty decently though. I guess that's useful for that. Something hit me. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not used to using the number keys here. I feel like if there's some other control scheme for activating these abilities, I would do better with using these. I'm wondering what would work better. Well, I guess maybe if I was to rebind them, I might just use like the Q, E, and R keys or something. Since those are like easy for me to hit, I can also hit the F key pretty easily. You know, just have an easier time with that than the number keys. But I guess that would just be a matter of rebinding and just have to rework the whole control method here. Which way do I go? Am I going backwards or something? Am I going a bit in a big circle? Oh, there's an enemy. Ah! I haven't really used this at all. I mean, you do have to charge it for a bit to get the bigger effect. I'm not sure if it's really useful to use in really close quarters. Stop dying before I hit you. I'm dying too easily. I feel like testing out this thing. I think it'd be nice if it has like a good amount of stun or knockback or something. I'm not sure what the damage numbers on everything are. For goodness sake. It seems reasonably useful if something gets a little bit too close. It's just if you don't charge it, and it's a little bit small, but... Yeah, I would definitely focus, for this kind of attack, I would definitely focus on making sure it has a lot of good knockback. The game is pretty generous with the health, which is understandable. I mean, oh, okay, interesting. It's especially where you could say this was kind of early in the game or whatever. What happened with that pickup? I don't know. It's definitely helpful for me to playtest because be having a rougher time of it. If I was dying all the time, I definitely can't focus quite to the same extent while doing a playtest, so it helps if the game is maybe not quite as hard or intense as it could be. You know, see the sign. Some of these animations are pretty good. It's actually kind of weird because the the character models are so kind of low detail, and some of these animations are pretty detailed. What the? Okay, you gotta wait a little bit before you throw out an attack like that after a cutscene. So it does look like the dodge works for avoiding bullets pretty easily. There's quite a spray of bullets though. Oops. Can't see the person. I guess I hit her. Yeah, it's a bit problematic if I can't see the person I'm trying to attack a lot of the time. These patterns are weird. I don't really know. I mean, I can avoid them a lot of the time, but it just kind of feels... something about it feels off. It's like terrible feedback, I know, but... oh, okay. Might have been nice to see some kind of little visual, like, you have a lot of these, yeah, oof. You have a lot of these, like, you know, colored indicators for when an attack is going to come out, but for whatever reason with this character's particular slashing sword attack thing, you don't have that going on. Okay. So apparently you have to dodge pretty late. So when she ran up to me and paused when she was about to do her attack, I figured that was the moment that I was supposed to dodge. And so I dodged, and then she like turned and instantly hit me. So it seemed like what the game was communicating to me wasn't quite representing what was actually what I was supposed to do. Did it just put me back to the start of the level? Oh, okay. Well, I think it did, but there's like no enemies, so it's a little weird. Just have to walk up here. Having trouble wrapping my head around kind of what the rhyme or reason is for dealing with this particular bullet spread. It's a little weird to me for some reason. Well. I also have a little bit of trouble with the timing on the right-click thing. It's hard to know exactly when it's going to finish. I'm not really sure what would help with that, but... I guess I could just stand back here and do this, and... I don't know where she went. Oh, over here. Oh, I didn't know I was that low on health. That's another thing that might help, is something to make the current health state of the player a little more obvious without having to look directly down there, because I can't really look down there while I'm doing this gameplay stuff. Ouch! I forgot I have potions too. I should probably use those. Ugh. I'm just like getting lucky not getting hit by that slash attack. The timing on that is kind of crazy to me. It's just not very useful under the circumstance, I guess. I don't know if that hit, but I don't think it did. Ouch. Okay. Wait, what? No, it's dusk? Oh, hello. Interesting how I didn't hit one of these guys. Jeez, oh gosh. I was hitting the spacebar, but I guess I was colliding with the enemy. So I wasn't actually dodging here. Yeah, see. This dodge, it seems to go through projectiles and stuff as far as I can tell, but it doesn't go through the enemy colliders, so I find this quite annoying. I wish it would just kind of go through them. Because if you hit the dodge and you just kind of don't move, it just kind of feels bad. I can't see my reticle. That was a bright flash. Ah! There's so many. They don't really, oh no. Yeah, okay. They don't really, like these melee guys and stuff, they don't really have like a wind-up animation, you know? They pretty much attack you like instantly when they're in range, so these are little things like adding these little timing things where they kind of stop and you know, wind up their attack before they hit you, and little things like that here and there can make a really big difference in how this kind of thing feels. Yeah, apparently going that deep, and it's like I kind of dodged past the front line guys, and then there were like more guys behind him, and so I was like, okay, I gotta keep going in that direction, and then there were more guys behind him, and then more guys behind him, and then there was just like the entire army. There's no more room for me to go anywhere, so it was a little weird how that worked out. So I thought I was pretty safe just kind of diving onto the other side of the enemies here, but apparently I wasn't. I expect there to be just one guy here. Just kind of randomly spamming the abilities. Seems like it doesn't matter much what attack you use at any point in time, necessarily. Anything kind of works. It just kind of, abilities are obviously a lot stronger than just your primary fire alone, so. And yeah, this the secondary attack being what it is, it also kind of seems to really encourage that idea of just kind of diving through the enemies and getting onto the other side of them. Which, as I've demonstrated, has the potential to get you into a lot of trouble, so it's a little weird how that works. Stop. Stop. Yeah, these melee guys, they attack way too fast, I think. It's like the instant they're in range, they're already slapping you, so definitely like to see a little bit more delays and things here and there. But yeah, I'll probably wrap this up pretty soon. I've been playing for quite a while, which is, you know, it's a good sign. I think it's been very interesting to see what you've got in the game here so far. It seems like you've been, I mean, I know this game has been in development for a long time, but it looks like there's quite a bit of content already, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, so I tend to feel like the charge up for this kind of thing, maybe it's better the way it is, but it seems like a lot of times when I try and use this, just the speed of the enemies is just like slightly too much, that the amount of time that it takes to hit the full charge is just like not quite enough time. Sometimes I can kind of do it. I do like how you can dodge around while you're charging it and that kind of thing. Although apparently your dodge is really gimped while you're doing that. Alright, so this is another thing. Okay, so I talked about this before, but the way that your speed kind of gradually goes down to really low while you're charging this, which makes it feel really inconsistent. So for example, if I start charging this and I dodge, then I can get like a really kind of decent dodge, but then if I keep dodging, after a moment it's like my dodge goes down to very, very little. And it just feels really weird that it feels kind of really inconsistent because of the way it doesn't like immediately update your speed here. Wait, what? Some of these guys get really hard to see, even though you have this nice little outline thing going on. This is just blending in way too much, in my opinion. You might want to just work with different colors or something. I think there's like a glowing effect here, so it looks like there's an item. So again, it's a bit too bad if they get hidden back there also. But yeah, I'll probably wrap this up. It's been really interesting. I actually find this design really interesting. Okay, yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. It seems like there's quite a bit more game here to explore. I don't even know how much more, but interesting how much content is here, all the different players, and the red and blue kind of faction dealy seems interesting. I'm not sure how much, I don't really know what's going on with that, but it seems interesting the way that goes, and there's all these different playable characters. That's pretty cool. I think it would be cool if these had different stats other than just power, but I might guess that that's maybe something else is planned here. I mean, there's like a lot of room in the UI here, and there's just like one little bit of text here, so maybe the developer has other things in mind and just hasn't implemented that stuff yet. I don't know. But, well, I guess there are a couple other things. If you have like movement speed and ability duration effects here. Now that I think of it, you should probably like list these things out somewhere if you're going to have these kinds of effects. Just put somewhere where it's all kind of, you know, in one place, so you can just like look real quick and just see the kind of effects that are currently on the character without having to go through every individual item to see. I think that would be a good idea. Yeah, so overall, I mean, I mentioned some things about the general gameplay and the timing of the enemies and stuff that I think seems a bit tricky to figure out maybe, but I think there's some changes you can make that would just make everything feel a little bit tighter. I guess the hard thing is all the different attacks and abilities. It's really hard to work out the sense of like needing every individual thing, because it kind of seems like every individual ability has you know, the ability to kill whatever is attacking you. So you can kind of just use all of them however you like, and ideally I guess you kind of, you know, use your cooldowns frequently so that you're maximizing their uptime or whatever. But for the most part, it doesn't seem like it matters too much which abilities you use. You have your primary and like your secondary attack sort of, and then the charge attack. Then you have your three cooldowns. So you have those different attacks, and all of them just kind of do damage for the most part. I guess one of the blue ladies had the one that kind of frees the enemies, but you know, whatever. That's I'm not sure if I felt like that was very useful, you know, necessarily. It's just kind of, it freezes them and then you're just going to shoot them to kill them versus just like killing them with some other ability. I don't know. But that seems to be the thing that would be seems like it'd be something tricky to work out with this kind of design. Like, how would you make all the different attacks kind of have their own uses, you know, that kind of thing. I'm sure there's more you could do in that regard, although it is tricky to figure out. Didn't even have this stuff equipped, or is that's this other character that I'm not using right now. I wonder if these actually do only affect your, like, the individual attacks you use. Like, if I equip this, does this, in the gameplay, does it only affect the grenade power? Didn't really think of that. Because I just assumed, because the only thing that happened was that this number went up, that the power was just some universal number that just kind of made everything better or worse, you know. But it could also just be like the idea of it being like a rough estimate of your overall character power or something, which I guess makes sense, but it's not really clear how that works. I did forget about these tooltips. 90 damage, each dealing 14, 90 damage to all enemies in the blast radius. Alright, so these numbers I think are going to be pretty important for the player. I'd like to see also the numbers for the primary and secondary attack and the charge attack somewhere, so that the player can kind of study these and say like, okay, what actually is going to maximize my damage output and that kind of thing, which I don't really have a way to do that right now. I just kind of make assumptions. Like, I can't really see these damage numbers very much for the most part, so they're not much use to me here. Interesting how that hit. It felt a little delayed there in the collision. Oh, that's quite a nice knockback if you actually charge it up. That's interesting. So yeah, I always feel like it'd be nice if this had really good knockback, kind of like I said before, but seems like you only really get the good part of it if you charge it up a while, but It seems like the only time you're really going to be using this is if somebody gets in too close after you've been hammering at them with the primary fire. So you kind of going to want it to come out pretty much instantly. Not really sure what I think about that. Well, I do like those sound effects. It sounds nice when you hit the enemies with the sword. So yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff to tweak. Maybe I don't know. I feel like a lot of ways you can kind of make the game easier, and then you'd have to like figure out other ways to sort of bring back some of that difficulty. But yeah, in my opinion, I think the best approach for this kind of stuff, dealing with balance and timings and things, is to just kind of focus on fun and what feels good for the player. And, you know, that kind of tends to end up in, you know, the player being really powerful, and then maybe the, maybe the enemies are too weak or whatever, and the game's just a little too easy. But it feels good, right? And it's fun, so I think that's something that you should kind of prioritize and focus on doing that first, and then you can kind of try and find ways to make it a little harder to compensate, but you end up kind of making it harder in better ways, you know. So I think that's kind of an approach that works best for balancing games and such, so that you can really prioritize having fun. It's sort of like not letting the game balance get in the way of maximizing the fun of the game, you know. In this case, actually, I'm thinking about it. Let me just. Oh, I think I hit 2 keys here. What did I do? Oh, that's a little weird. Let me. Oh, okay. Let me try this. Test this out again. Right, okay, so I see what's happening here. So if one of these abilities is on cooldown, and then I pull out another one, and then I hit the number of the one that's on cooldown, it just kind of gets rid of this one. So for example, if this is on cooldown, I pull this out, and then I hit the number 1, it kind of does this animation, but it doesn't actually do anything. So it actually can be a little annoying, because if I kind of fumble reaching for the digit keys here, and I accidentally, like, say I kind of hit both keys or something, and I might end up just like not doing anything because it cancels. So I would suggest, it's like a really small thing, but maybe just if you have one of these abilities out and you try and switch to an ability that's on cooldown, just keep this one out, because I think it makes sense that if you definitely want to get rid of this, if you want to cancel this, you're going to hit right click, and you probably don't need any other things to cancel that. So I would make that little change there. The other thing I was going to say, what was the other thing? So I was talking about making it easier. Right, okay, so if you start making tweaks to the timings of the enemies and stuff, maybe even like the number of bullets, there's a lot of bullets. There's, I mean, it makes sense, it's supposed to be kind of a bullet hell, but the volume, there's kind of this weird collision between the volume of the bullets and the number of enemies. So like in a lot of other bullet hell games, you might have like all the bullets come from like one boss enemy or whatever, or they might have all of the enemy placements might be kind of set in stone, just the way the level is laid out, you know. Whereas in this game, you have kind of like a mob of enemies, and they're all spewing bullets, so the way that the different patterns collide is very chaotic, and you can kind of end up in kind of rough situations, I think. I think it's really hard to kind of manage this kind of thing, where it just, the patterns of bullets become very uncontrolled, and it's hard to be very consistent in allowing this to always be dodgeable, I guess. So maybe even like the number of bullets, you might want to consider toning it down or something. But the thing that I was going to say is that if you make these tweaks that kind of make the game overall easier, you actually have a lot of room in the fact that you have so much health on hand in the game right now, and I think, I guess, like a little bit more of a less shooter experienced audience, that it can kind of make sense to have, you know, have the 5 hearts for health and have all of the potions and everything that you can tap into. But of course, then there's like the other side where there's the people who are very experienced with shooters who tend to, they're very used to the idea of just like avoiding damage all of the time and being punished very harshly for messing that up, right? So when you go into the situation where you have a lot of health, you can kind of, it can kind of lead to some bad game design, actually, because you can get a little sloppy, because if the player takes damage, it's not that big a deal. Whereas in these, particularly the old school style shoot 'em ups, the fact that you're just going to die if you get hit ever, basically, makes it like extremely crucial to get the gameplay in a place where the player can always avoid damage consistently and skillfully. So the gameplay ends up being very, very tightly made, and that's really important. So it is, you know, it's usually, they're pretty challenging games, but the point is that the gameplay is very tight, and you don't necessarily need that much leeway in terms of having a big health bar and stuff, because the player, assuming they're good enough, can always be very consistent in avoiding damage and playing well. So if you make some of these adjustments that make this game easier, you can actually compensate for that by, you know, cutting back on some of these potions, maybe even the health meter, maybe cutting it down to 3, that kind of thing. You can make a lot of these changes that would make the game less forgiving, while also making, you know, the way the characters and such act a little more forgiving. Because you do have a lot of health to work with in this game, and you have, you know, really strong dodge move and everything. It's like really powerful. It's actually pretty easy to stay alive. Like if I, particularly if I wasn't recording and I had more focus, this would be a lot easier, I think. And I haven't been using the potions like at all, so you just have a lot of health that you can tap into. So I just want to mention that. I'm being like way too long-winded about this, but yeah, hopefully that all makes sense to you. I gotta wrap this up, or I'm going to find some other reason to keep talking way too much. But hopefully the video is useful for you. Let me know if you have any questions. I enjoyed playing it, and I'm really curious what else. Well, I'm curious to see how the game might come together in the future, and if you, I don't know, if you like any of my feedback and incorporate any of my suggestions. And I definitely like a lot of what's here, so I'm very interested to see. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.